ALCATRAZ number 1259 by William G. Baker. Hello, I'm Bill Baker. I guess I'm one of the last living prisoners from Alcatraz. That's what I've been told. I know that everybody I knew from Alcatraz is dead, gone to the big prison in the sky. For I know that the Bureau of Prisons must have figured out a way to build a prison there, and that the Federal Prison Industries has built a factory there to employ the heavenly convicts. For they don't miss a chance. I once heard that if you die at Alcatraz, they bury your body standing up, and don't lay it down until your time is up. But I think it's more likely that you go straight up, or maybe straight down, and finish your time sewing white cotton gloves for the Federal Prison Industries. I'm retired now. I've been trying to retire for many years, and I finally got a parole officer who was wise enough to let me. They don't really need me anymore anyway, and there are millions of young gangbangers and crackheads and such out there just knocking on prison doors to get in, enough to provide job security for the entire criminal justice system forever and ever. So why bother with me? The gangbangers are easier to catch anyway. They shoot each other, and the ones who get shot go to the hospital, and the ones who survive run to their mama's house. I retired at the top of my game. I'm the best counterfeit check casher there is. I learned my trade at Alcatraz from Courtney Taylor, the best there was. The only problem is the best isn't good enough. You can get away with it 1,000 times, but all you have to do is get caught once, and you're caught. I guess you could say I'm a career criminal, but that really doesn't fit my track record. For a career criminal jacket best fits somebody with a greater degree of success than I had. You could better describe me as a career convict. I've either been a convict or an ex-convict all my life, doing a life sentence on the installment plan. But for all of that, I'm still the best there is. I just can't seem to solve the problem of getting caught. Not that the law is so smart. They never once caught me by their own effort. They didn't have to. I caught myself, one little mistake after another, on-the-job training, but that's what it takes to be the best, I guess. I have no love for the law, nor they for me, but me and the law have a congenial Dumb and Dumber relationship, they being dumb and me being dumber. Now at 80 years of age, they've turned me out to pasture. It's nice to not be needed anymore. Once upon a time, though, I was desperately needed. The Bureau of Prisons needed me to fill up a bed. The Federal Prison Industries needed me to work in their factories. And when I was free, every cop from sea to shining sea wanted me badly. Had a set of shiny handcuffs ready just for me. I can imagine law enforcement agencies throughout the land saying, "Oh shit, Baker's on the loose again." For I was wide open, and they knew me well by name, so there was a lot of oh shits when I was free. Now I'm a relic, a fossil from a time before the gangbangers came along and changed the world with their overwhelming numbers. Those numbers created by new federal drug laws that made it highly profitable for even the lowest street peddler to make pockets full of money, which meant new prisons had to be built to hold them all. An impossibility, of course, because for every dope peddler they arrested, there were 2 to take his place. So if you're crying about not being able to find a job, try the Bureau of Prisons. Become a prison guard. Then you'll have it made from cradle to grave. For no profession on the face of the earth has a higher growth rate or better job security than they. And you don't have to have any qualifications other than the ability to stand on 2 feet and count to 10, in my admittedly biased estimation. For in my estimation, there's room for dumb and dumber and dumbest. There were some prison guards at Alcatraz, however, who didn't fit into any of those categories, like Lieutenant Mitchell, Fat Mitchell, and the old captain, whatever his name was, and even old Promising Paul, the sorry old warden who turned out to be not so sorry after all. They were real men, a dying breed, no, a dead breed, who carried themselves with respect and dignity, and who deserve a place in the story of Alcatraz. And there were many prisoners who, despite being considered by society to be the worst of the worst, were nevertheless some of the best people I've ever known, and some who I would learn to love like brothers before it was over. And if these people, these sorry convicts, seem to be larger than life in my account of them, it's because they were larger than life. I mean, if you've ever wondered what happened to the outlaws when the Old West ceased to exist, well, they might have died and gone to Alcatraz. For the Alcatraz convict, for the most part, was different from the gang-banging prison inmate of today. We didn't fight each other. We fought the law. We stood on our own 2 feet. We usually lost, but at least we knew who to fight. And the prison guards had to take this into account when dealing with us. And they did. But like the Old West and the old convict, Alcatraz lived for a brief time and then died. And while a few accurate accounts of the history of Alcatraz have been written, the story of Alcatraz, how we lived, what we thought and said, who we were other than a name and number, is still largely a mystery. So I guess it's up to me to fill in some of the missing pieces. This is the story of Alcatraz, and how I somehow managed to get there.